Welcome, everybody, to our inaugural Azores real estate webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I gather we have well over 100 attendees, which is a pretty remarkable number. So thank you for that. I think I will be saying good morning to our North American friends who have joined us. Good afternoon to Bermuda, and good evening or early evening for you in Ponta Delgada, and early good evening to all of our British friends who have joined us as well. So again, thank you for joining us. What I'd like to do is just start with the why we're doing this. I'm a great believer in shared experiences, and I had a wonderful trip to the Azores just recently, and my family, the last time we were there was in the late 1800s. So I was effectively on a cultural, economic exploration. And when I was down there, I took the opportunity to meet our friends, Carolina and Luis, who you'll hear a bit later on, at Coldwell Banker Houselife. We have a great referral relationship partnership, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to share some of our experiences. So they're going to talk a tiny bit about the Azores, how awesomely wonderful it is, and then look at some of the real estate inventory available. So from a housekeeping point of view, we're going to try and keep this to about 30, 40 minutes. You do have the ability to ask questions during the presentation by using the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. You'll see it in the menu. And my colleague here in Bermuda, Coldwell Banker Bermuda Realty at Barney, will be facilitating and taking the questions. If we can't get to all of the questions, we will do so after the presentation as we have your email addresses. So I want to introduce you firstly to Carolina and Luis from Ponta Delgada in San Miguel.
Hello.
I hope the weather is better there than it was the other day. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Slightly better. Thank you, Brian. Welcome everybody to the webinar. Carolina and I will take you through an introduction to the Azores, a brief introduction. And then, as Brian referred, we will see some properties that we selected to give you an idea of the possibilities of investment in the islands. So just that everyone has a geographic idea of how we are placed in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We are an archipelago of 9 islands, and the distance between the two extreme islands is 600 kilometers. So it's quite far. Logistically, it presents some challenges, but the lifestyle is so well set up that all the islands have enjoy a very comfortable lifestyle. So to be a little bit different, and in order to keep the archipelago cohesion intact, the administration is set up in a way that we have 3 capitals. So where we are in Ponta Delgada, in São Miguel Island, it's the executive branch of the government. Then in Angra do Heroísmo, in Terceira Island, it's the judicial branch of power. And then the 3rd capital, sharing with the other 2, is in Horta, Faial Island, where the legislative power is. So the regional parliament is located there. The total area of the archipelago is quite large. It's 2,351 square kilometers. And the population of the 9 islands totals 236,440, with a total GDP of 4.128 billion, per capita being 16,900 euros. And of course, we have our own time zone, which is 1 hour ahead of TMG. So San Miguel Island is the largest island. It's where we are located, and it's where we'll focus today on our inventory and what we're going to see. The island is pretty much green all around. It's most of the area is actually preserved in terms of restrictions on construction. So there's a lot of areas that are not possible to build. The idea is to keep the island as pristine as possible and as green as possible. So the in terms of urban developments, there are 3 points that are key, which you will see on the map as yellow. The largest one on the left, on the south part of the coast, is Ponta Delgada. Then slightly to the right, there is another yellow patch, which is Lagoa, and on the north, there's another one, which is Ribeira Grande. These three spots are where the urban areas are mostly located. The ratio is around 21 kilometers around them. So the main hotel areas for these three places are, as I referred, Ponta Delgada, because of the city, the international airport, the main port where all the goods arrive for the archipelago, where the center of culture is located, and has one of the most warmest climates from all the 9 islands. Then Ribeira Grande on the north side of the island is a resort town. It's the place in the island where there are long sandy beaches. It's a surf center, and it's a very upcoming destination for new arrivals on the island. Furnas is the other main hotel area, which is located in the crater of an old volcano, where there are many hot springs and natural thermal spas. There are quite a few five-star hotels there. It's again another very interesting location for development. And then, of course, Lagoa, which is not very far away from Ponta Delgada on the south side of the island, where the new Hilton Hotel will open this year and the new international private hospital has already opened. The island will have another international hotel brand opening this year. It's an Accord hotel, but it's in the city center of Ponta Delgada with around 120 rooms. So the two first international chain hotels will open this year, which will be quite an event because all the other hotels in all the islands are local brands. So what do people do in São Miguel Island? Well, most most people want to bond with nature because of the spa and thermal waters, hot spring and body treatments. There are lots of nautical activities, sailing, scuba diving, whale and dolphin watching all year round. It's an ideal island for trekking, and it has a variety of mountain lakes, waterfalls, and forests. There's a lot of rafting on these lakes and rivers that are completely in the middle of the wilderness. There's golf. We have two golf courses on the island. We have a casino. Ponta Delgada especially has a huge selection of very good quality restaurants, international cuisines, and of course the ancestral culture of the Azores and specifically in São Miguel has many events throughout the year, many festivals, exhibitions, and there are quite a few museums which are very interesting to visit. So the capital, Ponta Delgada, has an area of 232,000 square kilometers, a population of 67,287 inhabitants. It has connectivity with major continental European airports, Lisbon, Barcelona, Paris, London, and also regular flights with major North American, East Coast, and Canada airports, New York, Boston, and Toronto. It's very well connected with regular flights, again, with the other Micronesian islands, Madeira, Canary Islands, and Cape Verde. And also, and obviously with Bermuda, there is a direct flight Bermuda to Ponta Delgada. Ponta Delgada is also a major port of call for cruise ships on the transatlantic route. So we have around 250 ships stopping throughout the year. Climate-wise, it's temperate, milder in winter due to its location on the south coast. So when we have sun, which is not rare, it's quite often, the sun warms up the city very well, even in winter, because we're facing south. Why invest in the Azores? So we've listed a few points that we think are the main reasons why people invest in the Azores. It's a pristine location and unspoiled nature. There is an abundance of freshwater resources, temperate climate all year round. It's an awarded destination year on year. The development that takes place, it's always sustainable. That is a big focus from the government in whatever development. Sustainability is a key factor. It's a unique location because of where we are and because of the volcanic heritage of the island. Its people are very friendly, very welcoming, and very easygoing, and most people speak English. Safety, there's hardly any crime, even in the metropolitan areas. And of course, the tax reduction of approximately 30% for local residents and local business, because we enjoy a very much lower VAT amount on any transaction and business. And for investments that will develop projects in the hospitality and tourism industries, the government has a special program called Construir 2030, which can finance some of the developments up to 40%. So this is something that we're working at the moment very specifically with some international investors who are very keen to exploit this opportunity in developing some hospitality projects. So today we will look at a luxury modern house in Ponta Delgada, which is a very unique property because it's a very well designed and planned house in a very unique location. Then we will see two townhouses for refurbishment in Sete Cidades village, which is located inside the crater of an ancient dormant volcano, and a new development condominium apartment in Ponta Delgada, which has been designed specifically and taking into consideration investors who would like to generate revenue on these properties whilst they are not using, or some of the family are not using during the year. And then we will see two other listings. One is already planned and approved project of an eco resort very close to Ponta Delgada. And lastly, we will see another tourist development, but on a large scale, not very far away from Ponta Delgada also, which has a possibility of being divided into 5 different projects, or it can be taken as a whole. So we will have a look at the video.
Yeah. Well, we will have a link. It's supposed to be connected, but I don't think it's working. Just a moment. Sabe o que é o vídeo? Deve ser no PDF, o link.
Não é no PT, é no PPT.
Mas não é no PowerPoint.
No.
Okay.
We'll try to resolve this, and we will see this one in the end.
Okay.
Ah,
I will see if I can get the video up on my end as well.
Vai falar, se calhar, falar um pouquinho de que é que se trata e depois mostro essas fotos.
So we will go to the second listing that we had planned to show today. These are the two houses that are located in this village in the crater of this dormant ancient volcano. You can see from the picture there is a lake. There are actually 4 lakes. And on the left-hand side, it's the village. These two houses, pardon me, are these ones here. They have been not used for a long time, so you can see nature has taken control of these two buildings. However, the area is one of the most sought after destinations for visitors. So the possibilities on these two houses will be for development, either for a very small boutique hotel, because the two houses can be linked with maybe a sort of a greenhouse connection made of glass, or they can be used separate as short-term rentals, which will be, again, very successful in this area. The construction is very limited, so new construction is not allowed in this area. So these two houses are a rarity to be found in this village. The total area of the two houses is 607 square meters for approximately 5,000 square meters of land. So we'll see a few more pictures of the houses. The gardens are not immaculate, but they're very well kept anyway for such properties that are not been used for a long time. The interior needs to be also redone, and there is already a project that has already been approved, and the plans have been approved, which we will show you some plans of the two houses. So one will have 5 bedrooms, which is the largest one, and this one will have 3. It's the smallest one. So this is house 2, which is the largest, which will contain five bedrooms on 3 floors. So this has been approved, and it's a turnkey solution. So it can be built the very next day. And then the second property that we look at, it's this condominium with the short rental apartments that have been designed for this specific purpose, but can also be used as permanent residence. And the location is right at the city center, which we will see right there. It's in the old part of town, so everything in the city center is reachable by foot. This is the 3D, because we have not completed the outside work yet. Some balconies need to be installed, and this will be done. So the real images will be online very shortly, maybe next week. But this is the facade of the building from the entrance side, and this is from the back side. So if I go back to the entrance side, you will see on the ground floor there are 2 apartments, one on each side. On the first floor, again, 2 apartments. On the third floor, 2 more apartments. And on the roof, which you can see on each side of the roof, there are like 2 small terraces. There is 1 apartment on each side of the roof. So when we go to the back, you can already see the ground floor has 2 large terraces. The first floor has 2 balconies, large balconies. And then the third and the fourth have just regular balconies. So each apartment is a 2-bedroom apartment. the top floor is actually a slightly different setup because the configuration of the apartment is on two levels. So it's a mezzanine style living room with one bedroom on the mezzanine floor. This is again an artist's impression of the interiors, which are not very similar. Each apartment looks very different. Even the tiles from the bathroom look very different, and the furniture as well. So as I was explaining, on the ground floor, we have the two large apartments, 120 square meters each. On the first floor, slightly smaller two-bedroom apartments. On the second floor, slightly smaller even. And on the third floor, with the mezzanine setup, they are quite different. This one is actually bigger than the others, but this one is a little smaller. So these are the plans of the ground floor with the two terraces at the back, as we saw before. The first floor, second floor. We will have all this available for you to see online. Here are the areas of the apartments, which we just saw before. So the investor who buys these apartments, who would like to keep it on a constant profitability agreement with the company that will manage the short-term rentals, can enjoy a 3% profitability guaranteed for 3 years to enroll on this short rental program, which is very good. Just to finish up, the total price of the apartment block is 3,100,000. However, the prices of each unit vary between 329,000 and 398,000, according to the square meters, of course. Then the next one is the Eco Hotel project that I mentioned before. It's in an area slightly above the city, so it enjoys very magnificent views over the ocean, and it's located in an area of lots of green plots. Some are rural, some are forests, so it's very well located in terms of nature. The total area is 18,240 square meters. There is, at the moment, a small house, which was the house of this kind of rural property before. This can be restored, and this small house will be used as a reception and service center for the Eco Resort Hotel. The construction potential is 2,321 square meters, consisting of 96 bedrooms. Some are one bedroom, the others are two bedrooms. So the property is located right above the metropolitan area of Lagoa. And here is a zoomed photo of the plot where the property sits in. So these are the images of the project. The main intention here is to use very eco-friendly materials. So a lot of wood, all this wood is from will be from the local forests that are made of Cryptomeria japonica, which is like a mixture between a pine tree and a cedar. And this is a design of the location of all the different units within the plot. So this is the existing house, which will be turned into a reception and services, laundry and restaurant, meeting room. And these will be the units. They're all separated. These are the smaller ones. These are the larger ones with 2 bedrooms. Here are some views of the locations and inclination elevation, and some details on the areas. Now, the interesting thing about this project is that the current owner of this property has already filed all the plans and the authorizations with the municipality, so everything is approved. The construction can start the very next day, and both the land and the project are owned by a company. So, any potential buyer will be buying the full package, the company, the land, and the project, which for a foreign investor is ideal because everything is already set up. So the total investment of this project is 5 million euros approximately. And the total incentive that this project can receive from the government is just above half. It's 2.874 thousand, being 1.6 million non-refundable. So it's basically a grant. There are some changes to this Construir 2030, which have been implemented this month, January 2024, which will make this investment plan even more appealing because the grants have actually increased. So we will be looking at this in detail on a future webinar, and we will focus solely on this Construir 2030 and the new grants that are available for tourism developments. And then the fourth and the largest project is the Valongo Resorts and Residential Tourism. This is actually a very large area, very close to the sea. You can see already the cliffs and the sea on this picture. We have here an aerial view of the current area with nothing built on it. And here we have already an artist's impression of the 5 different developments that can be done individually and separately or all together as one. So this is the location of the 5 plots. Ponta Delgada is right here on the left. So it's a very quick ride on the motorway, which connects this area with Ponta Delgada, 10 minutes, and the airport, 15 minutes. This is a view of the elevation and how the project develops along until you get to the cliff edge. And these are the 5 projects of hotel developments and tourism residences that are planned on this project. This area is actually a very rare possibility of building in this region, as it has been for some time now considered a rural reserve. But it so happens that because of the time where the license for this project being applied, there was some loophole that they managed to somehow get it approved. And so it's a rarity. I mean, in the middle of rural area, there is nowhere possible to build anything, much less on a larger scale like this. And so here we have a breakdown of the plots, and we have the largest one, which is number 6, close to the sea, with a price of 4,865,000. And then we have the smallest one, which is number 1, with 1,718,000 meters for 1,035,000 euros. Now, as I said, this can all be done in one big project or 5 different ones. The index of construction is actually small compared to the total amount. For example, on parcel 6, which is the largest, the maximum that can be built is 10,000 square meters. So it's actually a quarter of the total area, and the rest has to be left green, cannot be built. So although there is the possibility of building, there are lots of measures to make sure that whatever is built does not create a negative impact on the landscape. So here are some of the views of the plots as they are now, because they are now used for agriculture. This area here that we see is called Calora, which is actually a very expensive area where people have summer houses, but it's very exclusive. It's probably in the whole of São Miguel Island where the square meter is the highest. And here we see the planned project, and you can see the cliffs, and there is actually an aperture on the cliff which allows access to the sea. Not easy at the moment, but it can be slightly improved, and eventually access to the sea. So this is what you see around. There are lots of beaches, and as you can see, it's all green. There's no construction. There's one beach, another beach, and then the natural pools, which are just on. If I go back, the natural pools are actually here on this side. And then again, more beaches, and the beauty of the area surrounding it is just phenomenal. And so this is where we end the presentation of our properties, but we will try to get the video on the luxury house. If you could just bear 1 minute with us. Let's see the key.
Por causa do tempo também. São 4 e 5. Eu vejo montes depois.
I have photos of it if that's easier.
Terribly sorry, somehow this video cannot be found. Somehow we got it lost during the conversion of the presentation.
Let me is it Lewis, is it this property?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, okay, well let me just I'll just go through the photos and you can kind of go and you can just talk about it from the slide.
Ok. Deixa-me só puxar isso para aqui.
Maybe just give us a brief description.
Não sei aí o.
So it's a really, I'm so sorry, but the video actually is very nice. It shows the whole property and the interior of the house, but unfortunately we don't seem to have the video to show you that. So I'll just give you a little bit of information on this property. And great job showing all those nice photos of the property.
No worries.
Trying to open this.
Não faz mal. Pronto. Diz só assim por alto.
Wait a second. So this was a house actually designed by a firm of architects at the request of the current owners who had this piece of land for a while and they were not very sure what they were going to build. And when they decided to go ahead with the construction, they had no idea of building such a large structure. However, as they started planning things with the architects, what was maybe half of the size of what it is now became this big house, which is in total a 4-bedroom house. As you saw, there is a quite generous swimming pool. The total plot is 3,182 square meters with a very privileged location, very close to the city. It's built on 2 floors. So the idea was to have the public areas where all the guests would actually be in the house on the first floor, and then on the second floor we have the bedrooms. There is also a study, and there are very nice areas outside to enjoy the view and the pool and the garden, with several sitting and dining locations outdoors. The materials used were all top quality, so the house enjoys, although it's all glass, enjoys quite good insulation in terms of acoustics and thermal. Another interesting thing is that underneath the house, because the initial plot was a little lower than the rest of the surroundings. Underneath the house, it's a huge area for garage and laundry and robotics. So everything underneath has been used, so it doesn't interfere with the rest of the plot. So wherever you are on the garden or around the house, you will never see the rest of the garage and the utility rooms. And the idea was, not to have cars outside. So the total space of the garage is it can take up to 10 cars, taking into consideration that people coming, the guests and family would also be driving. So the idea was to create a structure that would have the least impact on the grounds of this luxurious home. So it's fully automated with robotics, and it has CCTV with 5 cameras and central air conditioning, of course, and the pool is heated, so it can be used even in winter. This house is not available on our website because it's off market. It's only been exported to very exclusive luxury site, international sites, but we can supply the details and all the technical facilities of the house. So in a nutshell, this is what we wanted to show you today. Few different investment opportunities, and of course, we didn't focus very much on the urban residential area, but we wanted to specifically show these opportunities for foreign investors that would be interested in the Azores, and in particular São Miguel Island, which is the most developed and the most cosmopolitan island of the 9 islands. So I hope this was good and not too boring. And of course, we can give any more details that might be required by any of the kind people
very much
who
to both of
actually watch this
Um,
presentation.
Thank you very much. The first thing that's come is just what was the price of that modern home that you just showed there?
Which one?
The modern house that we just saw there, the modern one.
Quattro, no?
Mhm.
The modern house is 2 million
2 million, yeah. That seems like a pretty good
euros.
price. The garage is bigger than my house, so it seems like a pretty good price. So and also, what was the price for the two properties in the protected area?
Yes.
What was the price on that property?
The Valongo, that is currently the total 5 plots is 20 million.
We've had a question about the golden visa. Is that something that's still happening for the Azores?
Can you say again? I couldn't quite hear what you said.
The golden visa, is that still available for the Azores?
Golden visa in Portugal has finished.
Mm-hmm.
So for new applications, it's not possible to get that anymore.
Okay.
Only requests that have been handed in to the government before, those are still eligible because they are in the process, but new ones are not available anymore.
Okay. I think that's actually the only 3 questions we had that submitted. A question that I wanted to ask is if you were looking at a kind of a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in the city, what kind of prices do they start from? If you're just looking for a small apartment.
It depends, but it would be something starting in the 200,000
Okay.
up to 250,000, depending on location, if it's new.
Yeah.
And the area of the apartment, of course.
But
But
there are
it's
some
around
affordable options.
it's in the vicinity of 200 to 250,000.
Okay. Yeah.
We were shown a number of these properties when we were there just recently, Barney, and the Brum apartments, the condominiums. They had a wonderful view of the park next door, brand new. So those start at what again? Was it 350,000
Yes,
euros?
correct.
Yeah. So I think if you're looking for something brand new, turnkey, once you get your the front elevation all finished, we were very close when we went in. It was still the end of a construction site, but the fit out was mainly done, and they were beautiful. So 350 plus probably, right? Something brand new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And just quickly, someone also asked for the price for the 2 rustic buildings, Casa Amarela. Those 2.
Casa Amarelas, that is 4 million.
4 million. Okay.
4 million euros.
And that's in quite a protected area, I guess. So the price reflects
That's
that.
the asking price, yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
protected area.
when I was introduced that property, I felt like I was walking into an estate in France or Italy. I think you probably remember me saying that. It was magical. Requires a lot of work, but it's the opportunity there, isn't it? It's a stunning area.
Okay, well, I think that's all
Yes.
the questions from me on our side.
So I'd like to thank Carolina and Luis again. Thank you so much. I suspect we'll be doing this again. And we, as you know, send out regular Azores, Bermuda market updates, newsletters. So maybe what we can do is get the link for that modern house, which I fell in love with, as you recall. And maybe we can embed the link in our
Yes.
newsletter so that all of the individuals on this call will get them in the CRM, as well as all of the other individuals we have in the CRM and on our social media platforms. So that way we can share that wonderful video, because it's a great video. And
Yes,
Barney,
good idea.
anything else?
Yeah,
Barney?
just quickly, because we've had a few more questions come in there while I was just talking. So, are there any restrictions of who can buy property at the Azores for foreigners?
No, no restriction at all.
Okay, well, that would be nice if we could say that when people ask that question. That's good. Someone asked, is there any plans to develop the Ponta Delgada waterfront? Are there any plans to develop it?
In terms of residential, no. There will be a couple of hotels, but not residential apartments.
Okay.
So the hotel that was next to the Octant, where we stayed, there's a construction site there, right in between two hotels. Is that going to be the new branded hotel?
Yes, we just had the news last week that that area is going to be another hotel that will be part of the Octant Hotel where you stayed.
Okay.
So they will have two hotels separated by a street.
Yeah, that's great. So there will be mainly tourism and tourism related sort of development on the waterfront.
Yes, exactly. So the new hotels that are opening this year, they will add around 250 new rooms to the inventory of São Miguel and especially Ponta Delgada. And there will be a couple more hotels opening next year. So the expansion of the inventory of hotels is actually following the increase of visitors from the previous year. So everything is planned with sustainability in mind. So, you know, somewhere along the line, the government is coordinating the development of new hotels with the airline capability and with the number of visitors from the previous year. So they don't want to, for example, do what Madeira Island did, which is, you know, overdevelop in terms of hotel offerings. You have to bear in mind that most of the visitors to São Miguel and to the rest of the islands, they do self-catering. So they will rent an Airbnb, they will rent a car, and they will do the holidays on their own. So they will be staying in very different parts of the island. The concept of Ponta Delgada is more and more developing, but until now, most of the visitors didn't actually want to stay in Ponta Delgada. They wanted to stay somewhere in the middle of the island. But with the development of the city and also the connectivity, bearing in mind that Azores Airlines allows free stopovers for connecting routes, so the city of Ponta Delgada has become more and more requested as a hotel destination. That's why we have these hotels popping up.
Few more questions. Will the walkway, someone had clarified the waterfront question. Will the walkway or promenade be extended towards Santa Clara? That's what they're asking. Will the walkway be extended to Santa Clara? I'm not really sure.
vai ser estendida até Santa
You might
Clara.
not be able to
Sei que-
understand what I'm
Onde é
saying.
que é Santa Clara?
Santa Clara fica ali para o pé do aeroporto antigo, daquela parte.
So no plans yet for that,
Okay. Well, that's good.
because
Okay,
that is an area that has, of course, it has a barrier which needs to be resolved, which is the port.
Okay.
So the port where all the ships come and unload their cargo is actually blocking the promenade to expand into that direction. However, on the other side of Santa Clara, it's already developed into a promenade.
Okay. In terms of property taxes, this is a quick one. It's probably quite informative. Is the property tax based on the size of the house, on the value of the house, like it is in Bermuda?
It's based on the value of the house.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the rest I think we can answer separately from here. Oh, just one more. So apparently, someone heard that there's a limit on short-term tourist rentals allowed, like a limit on having Airbnbs, I guess, in certain areas. Is there a limit in each area?
In Ponta Delgada and São Miguel, we haven't reached the situation where there is a limit of the number of authorizations. So at the moment, you can still submit an authorization to open your Airbnb, but it might come at some stage because we are seeing exponential development in terms of construction and refurbishment of old apartments to turn into short-term rentals. So at the moment, there isn't yet.
Okay. Well, I think we'll end it there because I think the questions are going to keep coming and coming. But we'll pass all these questions on to the Houselife team,
Sure.
and they can answer them.
Great.
Well, thank you to our team in the Azores. Really appreciate your time today. Barney, thank you for organizing this.
No.
We will reach out to you shortly in the next few weeks, maybe with a newsletter and the link. And I'd like to thank all of the attendees to the webinar. Thank you so much. We weren't expecting the number who did register, so thanks for your interest. And we will probably do this again, and we'll let you know. So thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.